Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining me for another video. This week, I love this topic because I'm always talking about self-development and there's a huge piece that is just educational, right? The narcissism, emotional abuse, what is gaslighting, all that stuff. That stuff's black and white, but this is really where like the core self-development stuff kind of comes into play. And so let's get into really our moods and how do we, I always use the phrase, move through things in a healthy way. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about how to change our mood when we are in these funks, when we are angry, when we are frustrated, when we are sad, and what does it kind of look like? Now, before I do get into this week's video, if you have not already subscribed, don't forget to click on the subscribe button down below and click on post notifications. Also, I always link all of my courses and all of my material if you would like to sign up for private coaching with me, etc., down below so you can check out that information as well. Okay, so I'm gonna give you the quick rundown on this because you know me, I like to get to the point really quickly. No long-winded stuff here. So number one, the quickest way to change your mood is for you to accept and acknowledge that you have the actual capability to change your mood. Now, I know this sounds very basic, like, okay, Steph, I can change my mood, but I'm still here and I'm struggling to leave. Really taking full responsibility for yourself means that you're going to acknowledge that if you stay in this space for too long, you are not going to get to where you want to be. So there has to be an aspect of really taking responsibility for your life that you say, yes, I'm here, and if I stay here, I'm not going to get to where I want to be. I'm not going to feel what it is that I need to feel. Now, let me take a step back and say that anything that you're feeling, anger, frustration, sadness, whatever it looks like, you have to acknowledge that it's there. So we can't suppress. None of this changing your mood is about suppression. It's about learning how to feel, which is your emotional side, and learning how to move through, which is your mental side. Most people will, of course, come to me and say, well, I feel angry. I don't really need to feel that. It is what it is. Or I'm upset or I'm sad. It is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. Yes, there's nothing you can do about situations, but you're still a human being and you have feelings and emotions. And to not acknowledge feelings and emotions, really acknowledge them, really sit in it for a hot minute, means that you're going to suppress them. Now, if you suppress them, nothing good is going to come out of that as well. So meaning depression equals suppression. If you suppress how you feel, really the feeling is just going to stay there. So it's never going to go away. So in your logical mind, you think, why even go there? Because it is what it is. But if you don't feel it, it's going to stay stuck in you. The more you can actually feel, the more that feeling, that emotion will actually move through you and go away. But if you don't, it's just going to sit. And again, if it sits for too long, it causes problems. It causes addiction. It causes you learning or training your mind to just avoid feeling an emotion. It causes depression. It causes anxiety. It causes all of the things that we're trying to learn about and fix, but you can't fix it unless you actually feel it. Now, a big part of like your emotional health is your ability to feel your feelings. When you are feeling your feelings, and this is sometimes why we hire coaches and therapists, why we call our best friends or etc., and talk about what it is that we're feeling, is because we haven't learned how to do this for ourselves. Meaning, when you are sitting across from a therapist, when you're sitting near a coach, when you're talking to a friend, someone is listening to you to validate you, to soothe you, and they're sitting in a space to allow you to feel what you need to feel. Now, if you don't know how to do that for yourself, then you need to hire someone or have someone else hopefully do that for you. But you are, or you can actually do this for yourself. The only way to do it for yourself is to be able to detach from the part of you that's actually feeling the emotion. And again, depending on what you're going through, depending on how deep you have gone into self-development and how much you're really working on yourself, you may not be able to do this for yourself right off the bat. And at the end of the day, you know me, I always say the 80-20 rule. You're not going to be able to do everything for yourself always 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're going to need outside help. That's what it means to be a human being. But I think for the most part, if you have a good relationship with yourself, if you're really working on yourself, if you're practicing detachment, if you're practicing self-parenting, like I always talk about on this channel, you will know how to be able to do this for yourself. Because what you want to do is be able to detach from that part of you that's feeling the emotion so you can help that part see logically what it can't see right now, or be able to validate it, to be able to soothe it so it can start to kind of move through that space. You know, you've felt that before when you've talked to a friend or a family member, you've probably been really angry, really frustrated, you kind of got it all out, you vomited at the mouth, and then someone said something hopeful and positive and motivating to remember who you are and what's going to happen and everything's going to be okay, and absolutely you have every right to feel that way. They did all of that for you that helped you to kind of relieve all of the feelings of anger or frustration or sadness that you were experiencing, so that feeling, that emotion can go away because you really, really felt it. And someone sat in a space for you while you were really feeling it to make sure that you didn't stay there for too long, that you also remembered who you are, what the situation actually is, the logical stuff. Another really huge part towards changing your mood is not just going to always be, okay, let's get in my head, let's have a conversation, let's detach, because sometimes we can do that, and other times we need like just these radical change to actually happen. And one of the quickest ways to do that is how you actually stand. How do you speak? How do you carry yourself? I always say this is the part where, call it fake it to make it, call it playing a character, but you have to, no matter what you're experiencing, you feel depressed, practice standing up and standing taller. Practice just smiling. You don't need to know for what reason. I have no reason to smile. Just smile. Watch something that's funny. Do something with your body. Go for a run. The more you can sometimes get out of your own head and just change your body and change the way you carry yourself and fake it to make it and play a character or whatever this looks like for you, whatever analogy works for you, the more you're going to shift your mindset and get your mind into a different state. So if you're kind of stuck in a mood and you can't get yourself out, I want you to ask yourself this question. Number one, am I not feeling something that I need to feel? Am I not acknowledging what it is that I'm really feeling inside and it's staying stuck in me? So what do you need to feel that you haven't really felt yet? Once you know that you have felt it, now it's time to actually be a grown-up, be an adult, and make a decision. This is where you're gonna tap into kind of like your higher self, your parent, unconditional love, whatever, the part of you that really knows what you should do next versus just tapping into ego that just wants to keep you stuck. Because you know if you listen to the ego and you get trapped and you stay stuck in this space, energetically you're not going to be where you need to be in order to start creating the things that you want to create in your life. Instead, what's going to happen is the ego is going to make you out to be the victim. You're going to enjoy that story because then you don't have to do any hard work to get yourself out of that rabbit hole, and you're going to keep feeding and feeding the story, and you're going to stay stuck in the same cycles over and over again. So you're not a victim. You're not someone who's not capable of getting yourself out of a space. You are a person that can take care of themselves, and even if you can't take care of yourselves, you are a person that can ask for help and get the help that you need to get yourself out of that space. You will understand too that you are a human being and you're just learning this, and so you will have patience with yourself while you are learning this process. You will also start to cultivate things that will allow you to change your physical body that will not only help you mentally, but will also change your mood as well, because not everything is just about being in the mind and trying to talk yourself out of things. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next week.